I wish I'd thought of it earlier.
Yeah, that's a good idea. A room full of women. I like that.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
What do they look like? Where is it?
Well, they look like a bunch of my friends and people that I see around looking to listen and to learn. Like maybe it's a whole bunch of people that I used to have for students that are there because they want to hear what I have to say.
Yeah, and they want to hear more of what you have to say.
Yeah, they want to hear more.
And I think that that's something too, is like, you don't have to dumb it down. You get to speak at the level that you're at right now. So
That's a good point.
you don't, if you're speaking to your students who worked with you 5 years ago, they already know what they know, but they're still here because they want what's the cutting edge of who you are today, which is not the same person that you were 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have thought about dumbing anything down. I think that I felt like I was doing that a lot in the book, just to make it very sequential and not make any assumptions, which I think worked.
I think it's great. I think that that's the place to give them the whole step-by-step thing. But if you are sort of broadcasting at your highest vibration now, you'll call in the people who recognize that they want that, and then the book kind of gives them the step-by-step path to get there, because maybe they're already here on this topic, but on this topic they don't know that much and they need to learn more.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have your room full of women who are students and friends and people that you like to, how are they sitting?
And some of them actually are women that already have audiences.
Yeah.
And for what they share, they're already very kind of out there, empowered,
like Lisa
showing up women. Lisa Schrader. Yeah. And her friends, I mean, where I've met a bunch of these very powerful women is at her pre-wedding party. It was amazing. So I would like to also speak to them.
Yeah. And then I want like
they're supporting me. They're listening. They're curious.
Okay. I want a name or a label or something that you can reference. Do we call them your supporters? What do we call this group of ladies who are sitting in this room who are excited to hear from you? Some of whom have followings and audiences.
Well, they could be mentors, but they're inspirers. My inspirers.
Whoa.
Leaders. They're already leaders.
Do you like the word inspirers? I like it.
No, you do?
No, you don't?
Well, it's a little strange, inspirers.
No, but what makes it, what I like it is that a lot of times in branding, what people try to do is come up with like, what are you going to call the people in your tribe? The people who are like you. And so, yes, we're all leaders, but that's not anything particular to you. And yes, I'm a leader, but I don't really, like, that's not my most exciting. Like, I don't think of myself all the way that way. But if you say, hey, inspirer, I'm like, yeah. Sure.
Okay, good.
So I like that.
Okay. Hi, inspirer.
Yeah. In pickleball, we just call them pickleball lovers. That was kind of what I settled on for that one. But
okay. Well, luckily, the client I was supposed to have this afternoon is rescheduled for next week. So that's great. Thank the universe. Okay.
I have about, I don't know how much time you have, but I have like an hour and 15 minutes or so.
Oh, I think An hour will be plenty if we even need that much.
Okay. I'm just setting a timer for myself so I remember. Okay, so he asks you a question. What part of your body are you checking in with?
Oh, well, it's my solar plexus and my gut. I have to take it deeper. My solar plexus is where I can feel the constriction. So I just breathe way down into my low belly and let the energy go down into my legs. And then I speak from my heart.
Right. How would you describe the nature of the conversation that he had with the woman yesterday? Did it feel to you like, was he like, I'm sure he wasn't like challenging her. Did it feel like he was drawing her out? Did it feel conversational? Was it more formal? How?
Well, it wasn't too conversational. He actually asked us, he had as little airtime as I've maybe ever heard him. He just prompted her and said, well, I'd really like to hear you speak about this. Will you speak more about this? And then she was just off on a tangent for 5 or 8 minutes or so, or 10. And it was great information. So he didn't speak too much, but it is conversation. Obviously, it's not at all. It's very supportive. His questions are.
So when you think about having him interview you, do you feel comfortable with him sort of asking you the open-ended question and you just talking off, or would you rather
I think so.
Back and forth? Or okay.
Well, either way is fine with me, but I think I'm better at just talking and following my own thought a lot at the time.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been sort of reading the book over again. You know, when I finished the first 5 or 6 chapters, and I I had this reaction of like, wow, it felt like Pollyanna-ish. Like, great. Just gloss over all the hard stuff and, you know, just imagine that we can all live in love, and you're just trying to say that we can live in love and everything's going to be easy. I mean, I think that's why Mickey didn't want to endorse it. But I realized that is basically my message, that we can drop in to, and that it's actually imperative that we drop into ourselves and find out how to respond from caring.
And the way that I look at it is there is enough like reality, as some people know it, that they're being inundated with every fucking day. Like, to me, it's the inspiration and the reminder that it doesn't have to be that way that's really refreshing.
That you don't have to go down that, you know, got taken down. And it's not necessarily reality. It is an aspect of reality.
It's not any realer than engaging with like the real, just what Mukti and I came up with the other day is radical emotional intimacy. And that's what I do, right? That's what I have. I flow in. And when we call like the real world or normal people or whatever don't experience that as much, but this is just as real, if not more real. And it's an option.
Because it has more impact. It's more impactful on people.
Yeah.
It's what people crave.
And it's been really interesting to the woman I'm seeing is sort of straddling both worlds in a way. Like, she's a paramedic. So she we're in our little lovey-dovey, la la la, talk about our feelings thing, and then it's like, okay, pack that shit up and go get on the ambulance. It's like, I can't do that. I don't know how long I can even hear you deal with that world. But so
Right.
there's a lot of people who really, but it just like so speaks to her, and she wants more of this, and now she's like building more of that into her life. And but like people are hungry for it.
Yes, people are hungry for it. And when I listen to people who talk about the AI world, how the people who are born from the 200s on are just being inculcated into this artificial intelligent world. And when I get frightened that we're losing connection with our bodies and with the body of the earth, it shuts me down. And this process is a way to come back to life, to come back to, and the soil. The woman yesterday on his show talked about healing the soil is the way we heal the planet. She said that if we shifted from big agri-farming, agribusiness to organic farming, the climate crisis would be over in 10 years. Isn't that phenomenal?
Mm-hmm. I mean, in a way though, I'm like, I was comparing it to if you've got these huge wounds on your body and like you have these huge scars that keep getting scratched over, like how easy can your immune system heal and repair and do everything else it needs to do if there's that's happening all the time.
Right. And so that's why it would take us to help repair the soil. We need to repair the soil, but that's the same thing we're doing with ourselves. And those are the metaphors I'm using in the book a lot, is amending the soil of our own ground of being, because we aren't separate from the earth.
Right. So I think that one thing I wanted to do when I look at your list that you have, I want more stories, but not even stories from your past. Like even just saying, last week I sat down to reread my book from the beginning, and it struck me as Pollyanna-ish for a minute. And I'm like, oh, am I just glossing over these other things? But no, we really need to speak to this. And this really is the answer. And it doesn't mean that we're going to always get there overnight, or that, but we can take a step overnight, or whatever that is, that to be like, I think that's it's connecting, because it lets them feel you. It tells them something about, here she is reading her own book again a little bit later. Like, I never did that. I can't stand reading my own book. So it like lets them know you. And I think also tying it into the woman from last week, like that makes total sense, that you could say, I was listening to this interview that she was saying last week, about the soil and the global warming. And this is the same thing. It's just from another aspect.
And using quantum physics as a way to understand our connections, the intrinsic connections of everything. And that connection is what we crave.
Okay, and then the other thing that I want to speak to is, I don't know, we're not there yet, but I feel like we're moving in the direction of having these are going to be the 5 bullet points or words or something, that's like a progression where you're talking about it being Pollyanna-ish, but then you're talking about why it's not, or like why that is important. And then I also want you to address some of the hard stuff and like either tell a story or touch base on like, this is why I wrote this book, is because I'm sitting here and I know this to be my truth, and then somebody says something and here I go and I'm off on this, like somewhere helping it bring it back to being relatable and practical. And like giving it either an example from your life or a client's story. Like people like story, and the feedback that I got when I did my podcast interview, and she said, you were such a fantastic guest. And I said, really? What did I do that was any different? And she said, well, you did a really good job of weaving in personal stories with practical tips. That's what she said. So that's what makes it keeps it from being too dry. It keeps it being relatable and keeps the heart connecting.
So, for example, if it's something about why the practices in the book are useful to say, when I get triggered by my husband, for example,
right.
then I have the habit of looking inside myself first, feeling where the contraction is in my body, breathing through it, and choosing to respond with empathy for myself first, take a breath and not judge, not react, hopefully.
This morning, Sid was such a pain in the ass. He screaming. I told him to set a timer to get off his iPad. He wouldn't, or he did, but then he was like, this isn't how we usually do it, because it's his first day back from school. Usually I'm on my iPad until it's time to leave. Which isn't always true. And then he was like screaming and crying, and then I said, I feel frustrated. I feel like I want to yell. And it just didn't matter. He just kept going. And so I was like, he said whatever, and I was like, I don't care. And I yelled at him, and it didn't fucking faze him that I yelled at him. It didn't do anything, which was like hoping that maybe like at least it would have done something, but it did nothing. And so then I was just back to like, okay, got that out of my system. Now I'm back to, okay, this is our first day at school. I haven't eaten well. He hasn't eaten well. And just going back to self-empathy. And like, it's not the end of the world that I yell. He didn't even, sometimes he'll get really upset if I yelled at him, which I was kind of hoping it would get through to him in some way, but it didn't. I was like, it's fairly rare for me to get that upset, but I wasn't like, then I just yelled, and then I was back to like, oh, okay. Got to go back to self-empathy. That's all I can do in those moments, because I can't stop him from screaming right then. And so it's just like going through, okay, and I was thinking about like what's going on with him, what's going on with me. And both the kids today, when I asked them separately how they were feeling about going back to school, Shanti was like nervous but kind of excited, and he said a similar thing, excited but a little scared. And it's just so sweet that they had no problem putting labels on them.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
they are so far ahead of everybody else. They're probably already more emotionally intelligent than most of the adults in the world.
I think it's true. I had to send you too. There's a great podcast that there's only 3 episodes of it, but Sid listens to it over and over. And it's this guy, and he's talking about how to be a ninja. Ninjas are real smooth. And they can bounce, 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 but then they can stop and feel your body. Do your hands feel kind of tingly? Are you feeling kind of sad? When someone says something bad to you, a ninja gets sad, but a ninja calms down. And a ninja, it's so, and Sid's like in the back seat of the car going like this, like, it's adorable.
Is it listening to a podcast? What is,
in the car. Yeah.
That's so great.
So, and then when Annie was with us listening to it, and then she had tears and was like sad thinking about if she had had that when she was a kid.
Right.
And just how
it's been so amazing.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Is this going to be an in-person interview?
In person on Zoom?
With the guy.
Yeah.
It's on Zoom in person. I wasn't sure if he's local.
He's not local anymore. He lives in Canada now.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. I forgot.
He used to be here.
Yeah.
But then we do the interview on Monday, and then he airs it on Tuesday.
Yeah, good. So it's not going to be different than this. Does he do video too, or is it audio only? Is he going to record the video?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think it's only audio on the radio, so he probably doesn't record the video.
Okay. Sometimes the people that I've been on, they do podcast. Well, Patty does the podcast on YouTube also with video, but then some people don't.
Oh.
But if you do,
I wonder if I can save it.
So it doesn't look like it's coming out of your hair like that if you do it next.
What's looking like it's coming out of my hair?
The lamp.
This?
The lamp behind you.
Oh, the lamp behind me. How's that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll probably do it here. This is a nice room, isn't it?
Yeah. If you have something, I mean, it depends if he's recording it or not, but what is your computer resting on right now?
The bed.
It could be a little taller, like if you had another box to put it on or something. But
okay, so can I record my own and the video? Can I record the video on my end?
I don't think so, but I'm recording it and I can send you the link.
But I mean, when I do it with him, if I could record the video, I could maybe post some of it as a podcast, little short ones.
Right. I think you should ask him whether he can record it for you. It's whoever Zoom room you're on.
Oh, okay.
I think. I mean, there's probably a different way to record your screen, but it's a little more complicated. But he should be able to record it. I mean, he's recording it anyhow, so he should be able to send it to you.
How's that? Now you're on a pillow. Is that better?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, the best would probably be if you're facing the window more, but the window's kind of next to you, is it?
Oh, I see. Yeah, or I could be in a different part of the room that has less.
I mean, if he's not recording video, it doesn't matter that much. But yeah, no, if you want to reuse it.
I see, because one side of my face is all darker, right?
Mm-hmm. And there'll probably be really nice lighting if you're facing the window. It depends on how. Yeah. Way better.
Okay.
Good. Is it good height? Good lighting?
And I can rest on the bed.
Do you have back support?
Yeah, I'm in a chair with the back.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so yeah, telling stories about like you said when you get triggered by your husband. And maybe even being more, like I kind of set the intention that between now and next week, the experiences that happen to you are meant for you to share if the time is right. And so not even just a general, like when I get triggered by my husband, but like, you know what happened? So yesterday we were working out what the paint was going to be and this came up and then I went through this because even though the first five chapters might feel have a lighter focus on it, I feel like the whole point of the book is like these are the other processes and these are how you help deal with the things that are everything that's not coming from love.
Right.
Like dealing with that. So personal stories, and then it's just going to be like this, and especially you're going to get to see his face.
Yeah, so I'm going to find my pen. I lost my pen. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay,
so if he asks you a question, like your favorite question of call or something about why did you write this book or whatever it was, so you're going to connect to your solar plexus and your gut and your belly, and then you're going to speak to your inspirers.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want that would help you in terms of feeling more comfortable or confident answering those questions?
To belly, speak to inspirers. Well, trust myself. I think trusting myself is good.
I think that's excellent. And then the other thing that I would say is, or maybe even just the word slow, like let yourself be slow.
Slow.
And it's hard for me, especially in something like that. I just want to get as much as I can in, and there's so much to say, and we've only got an hour, but people can't even take it in that fast.
Right.
So I've done quite a bit of work, and I still have a lot more that I could do on talking slower, using my intonation more. So I can sort of shift into that mode to a certain extent when I'm doing an interview. But just to, and for me, it just settles into where it's just going to settle where it is. Like I'll do all the practice of talking slow, and then I'm going to get on the interview and I'm going to be talking how I'm comfortable. But having had that practice is going to make a little bit of a difference. And every time I do one, I'll slow down a little bit more and be a little bit more confident. And however it is perfect.
Yeah. So that's good. Practice between now and then.
Yeah.
Talking slow and being self-connected, which
Yes.
I'm supposed to be practicing all the time anyway.
When I think of slow, I usually think of more space between the words and paragraphs rather than stretching the words out. Either way. Yeah, and it's a tricky one that I work on, because for me, I say like a lot, but but you can just be quiet. That's what I'm learning. The filler is just be quiet until you know what you're going to do. So that's part of being slow too, is take time till you get the stroke of inspiration and then speak from your heart.
Yes. That's right.
I'm thinking more about I came up with this concept of frictionless ways to get your message out, and how us recording this, and then if I can get somebody who would enjoy listening to it, and who would then maybe either edit out parts of it and like take a snippet of some of the things that I'm saying, or if I'm in the future, I'm clear and I'm like, hey, can I share that? Can we make this conversation public so that other people can learn from it? Like that's just so easy. It's me doing what I love doing already. It's just recording it and sharing it. And that's what I signed up for, this program with Amanda Francis. And that's what it is. It's her recordings of her calls with people from the past. And why am I repeating myself all the time anyway?
Right.
And how many other people are prepping for interviews that this could be helpful for them? I mean, it's just
Good point.
So that's exciting. And this concept of frictionless sharing is going to be good.
Frictionless sharing.
I don't know if sharing is the word, but
that's frictionless. Well, you called it income or something. Frictionless endeavors. Endeavors is a very boring word.
Something. I mean, the boring part is content creation. It's like frictionless content creation, where I'm just like, it's just flowing out and it gets out to other people instead of just being trapped in the little bubble.
Yeah.
In my head. Okay, so let me know if you have anything else. I'm going to have a sip of water. I feel like
my water up.
The notes that you sent me, I sent you you and I came up with questions last time.
Oh, yeah, and I answered all those. I wrote out long answers to all those on my previous documents that I took these bullet points from. But I could send you all those. I have like 3 pages or 5 pages.
Well, I think that you need to send him the questions.
Which questions?
The questions we came up with last time.
Oh, okay. The questions we came up with last time.
Yeah, I thought that was your talking points for him for this.
Oh.
I thought he asked you to send him talking points, and I thought that's why we came up with it.
Well.
So maybe now's the time.
Okay.
Or he didn't ask you for talking points?
Well, I think he did.
Yeah.
So He's not the kind of person who he asks more about the material itself than what are people going to get out of your book, or why did you write it as a handbook, or
Yeah.
Where are they going to find the book. He doesn't ask those kinds of questions. He asks the content more kinds of questions.
Well, he gets to ask the questions that he wants to ask. You get to
Right.
give him the questions you want to give him.
Right.
These are good boilerplate ones for general interviews, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to send it, send it. Don't send it. It's up to you. But I think the main thing is, I don't think you need to prep more or figure out what your answers are. The answers are all inside you. You just need to go back
Right.
to your gut, your inspirers, slow, and trust.
Yeah.
Does it have a good
Breathe, gut, inspirers, trust. That's it.
Breathe, gut, inspirers, trust. Bigot. Go bigot or go home.
Eloquence.
What else? This or otherwise?
I guess that's it. For this, I agree with you, and I'm going to practice being in that state from now on the rest of my life. Iona's up here now.
For like living? For the summer? Or, no.
No, she's just here for this weekend. She's playing music tonight in town. And so she is coming to Scott's party on Friday, and so are two of Scott's kids, her sons. A bunch of our other friends, adult 20-something or 30-something kids are coming, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
At the new digs?
At the new digs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What's new with Jill? She and I never connected. Social media.
Oh, so yeah, Jill and I actually talked yesterday or the day before in person, Monday, and she gave me a list. She wants to work on the website too. I forget what, but I don't know if our Twitter links and our Instagram links are on the website.
They are, but it's fairly limited. What we can, how many of them we can do. I updated them, but
oh, okay.
It's like
and did you update those other things I brought to your attention on the website?
The only thing I think I didn't was you said that something was only half of the thing, and I can't remember if it was
just a P. There's a section up near the bottom that has a title, and the last word of the title has a P, but no word. I don't know. I don't remember. I guess I have it in my. But I have the login. I have the GoDaddy login information somewhere. Yeah. I just need to send that to Jill. I'm going to send her photos. I need to get the link to the radio interview. Do you think I can get that ahead of time?
The link?
Yeah. He must have a link. If I want to send it out to people that they could join.
Yeah, he should have a link for that.
I keep forgetting to write him on that. Whoa. Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
I somehow lost you. Oh, there you are.
Okay, there's somewhere that there's just a random P.
Yeah, it's near the bottom somewhere.
Your purpose is P.
It's one of it's.
Yeah. Okay, and then the preface.
Did you see it?
Yes, I found it. I fixed it. I just got rid of that line.
What's the word supposed to be?
I don't know. So I got rid of it.
Oh. And I forget what the other thing is I said.
Well, I think you said that the preface was only half of the preface or something.
Oh, right. It
But
wasn't the whole thing. There's like a whole section in the middle that's not there.
I think I mean, it's really long to have in there. So I don't think the whole thing should be there. Is there a part in particular that you were missing there?
Your purpose is P. Yeah, I wonder what that is. Your purpose is,
It wasn't, I don't think it was something you wrote. I think it was me starting to write the title or something.
well, I guess I must have thought so.
I can put the whole preface in, it's just long. But
Well, then we could say excerpts from preface. Either call it excerpts from the preface or call it, and don't include the whole thing, or call it the preface, include the whole thing. I don't care. I just don't want
people to think
that
that
misunderstanding.
excerpt from the preface. How's that?
That's fine.
Okay, so I'll fix those. And look, I got it done while I was on the call with you, so I didn't have it hanging over my head afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, so Jill, things with Jill are feeling good. Is she looking for more clients, or is she happy with her client load? Do you have a sense of this?
I think she's open to more clients.
Okay, maybe I'll reach out to her then and see.
And I think she's pretty good. She has this spiritual foundation. I gave her a little feedback on, I'm not a fan of the prayer emoji, and she was putting this at the end of every single.
I know. We talked about that last time. But what'd she say when you told her?
She was fine with it.
Yeah.
I said, I really don't want to make assumptions about. She explained, well, you know, it means lots of different things. I said, I know it means a lot of different things, but.
She's not good.
And then she was posting some quotes from the book, but then adding her own little invitation sentence afterwards, like, observe a flower or a plant or a bird today and feel the love, or something like that. And I said, let's not do that. I don't know. I somehow explained to her some distinction between. I just told her, I forget. Anyway, she understood. She was fine with it all.
Well, I still really love that she takes the initiative on these things. I don't think I've ever seen anybody else who, besides me, who will jump in there and like take a look around and then start creating their own thing and running with it.
Yeah, she's great that way. And I need to give her more, I guess, another gratitude feedback for doing that. Because it's better that way than the other way.
And she has to do it that way, because otherwise she has to come to you for every freaking little thing.
Right.
And
which is not right.
More pressure on you, which defeats the purpose.
Right.
So it's good. Well, I'm glad it's still feeling good, and I'm going to write to her and say, let's talk.
All right. And if you happen to have the GoDaddy login info in some document or on a page, could you include it to her?
Sure.
And to me, so I can reprint it and make sure I have it. I know I have it. I would just have to look around a little.
I have it in my last class.
Okay.
Okay, let me just do this right now. 1 sec. Jill. Is it Jill Lacoste? Yeah.